After a long and sometimes very stressful season, it's finally time for our final 2 games. Oh, it's going to be emotional. Oh, did I mention I'm Spurs manager now? Hello, I'm Kev, and welcome to Season 17, Episode 8 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kev, and we're playing Liverpool and Fulham in the Premier League. We're at Spurs, though. Spurs, who are currently one place below Ipswich in the Premier League. I've actually already played a couple of games, 4 games specifically at Spurs, because I didn't see the point in just showing you a whole load of Spurs games, and I'm probably going to rejig the whole squad when we get into the summer. So we're just going to have a quick look at Spurs now, play these last 2 games, and then do a proper welcome to Tottenham next episode. And that might be, we might have a day off to give me a chance to do that, because it's quite hard to move to a whole club on a weeknight. So we'll probably do that. Yeah. But anyway, this is what we've done. We beat West Ham in our first game. We were 2-0 up against Man City in the second game, but conceded a couple of late goals. And since then, we've been afraid to score goals or concede goals, to be fair. We're still unbeaten. And we do sit 9th in the Premier League, which is not too shabby. It's where we were when we arrived. We're doing okay. What is ridiculous is how well Ipswich are doing. The rise at Ipswich is continuing in my absence. If we just have a look at what they've been up to without me. Wow. Okay. I hadn't actually looked at that screen before. So the last game we were involved in was Derby, wasn't it? And we were getting all excited at the fact that for the first time all season we'd won 4 Premier League games in a row. They've now won 8 Premier League games in a row. How did they get Stevie Alston to score 2 goals in that game? The Pigs scoring for fun as well. Oh, bloomin' heck, what have I done? Who's the manager now? No, that's the wrong club. I'm not Ipswich manager anymore. Who's Ipswich manager? I can't believe this. Albert Siladis. Who on earth's he? Was it Athletic? Was it... So he's Spain's under-21s manager in real life? No, actually, yeah, maybe he was. Spain's under-21s manager. He's just appeared. He's changed the preferred formation to 4-1-4. Okay, that's fine. You can do a 4-1-4-1. So what tactic are you playing at Ipswich? This is actually making me quite upset. So he's doing that and somehow getting loads of goals out of Alston and the Pig. I told you it was going to be emotional. I didn't expect it to be those kind of emotions. Oh, we're going to finish behind Ipswich, aren't we? I mean, I will take all the credit for the fact that Ipswich are potentially going to get into Europe without me. Oh, I'm going to be sick if that happens. Can they do it? They can do it. Ipswich are only 2 points behind Stoke, only 3 points behind Chelsea. It's only just become mathematically impossible for them to make the Champions League with 2 games to go. What a late surge for Ipswich. We've got to win these last 2 games and hope Ipswich slip up so that I don't look like a complete moron. This is Tottenham. Oh dear. We've got a bit of money. I didn't realise we were going to fail financial fair play until I arrived. We're going to fix all this. Don't worry, it'll all be fixed. The important thing is there's money in the bank. We're rich. We have been playing in Europe. We won't be in Europe next season, presumably. But we've got quite an ageing squad who need dealing with if we look at some of the ages in that first team. But there's a lot of quality here. We've obviously got superstar Igor Anicic, although he's wanted by someone. He's wanted by Liverpool and Man City. Don't let him go for the second summer in a row. In fact, has he got a release clause? He hasn't, so we're not letting him go anywhere. But we'll have a proper look at this squad in the next episode. For today, we're going to get to know them by playing some matches. So away against Liverpool first up. Reminder, we haven't won for 3 games. We haven't scored for 2 games. We're just doing our normal 4-3-1-2, which is what Tottenham had been doing before I arrived. Not quite doing it our way, but they're very used to playing this system. And these are the personnel that are going to be part of it. So we've got Theo Polemans in goal, who is a 26-year-old Belgian international. And then at right back, we have Andreas Dijke, 28-year-old Danish right back. Our left back is Malang Sarr, who's a 34-year-old French international centre back, really, who's going to be moving on in the summer. He's not any good. Alfie Welch is our England international centre back, who, interestingly, used to play for Hamilton, who I believe is still managed by Craig McCall-Smith. Will Bradbury is his partner. He's a 31-year-old, also England international, who's been at Tottenham for quite a while now. So we've got an England reserve centre-back partnership. That's not too bad. We know all about Igor Anicic. He's still brilliant. Look at the state of that player. He's only 21 years old. What a hero. But the rest of the midfield aren't as good as him, obviously. He's one of, if not the best player at the club. He was quite the signing for Ipswich. Martino Mastinu is our defensive midfield player who, I mean, yeah, he can play a defensive midfield player. We'll allow that. 26-year-old Italian international with loads of appearances for Italy. He's a decent-looking player. And also in midfield, Rick Langedick. 22-year-old Dutch international who also looks pretty decent. We've got a lot of quality here. We just need to figure out how to get them to play together. Benjamin Cebrian is a 23-year-old Spanish under-21 international who's got the potential to be very good. I mean, look at those stats. He looks like he could be quite a player as well. We need to get some performances out of him and push him on to be a full Spain international. And then our old and experienced strike partnership, Rashid Arab, who is our captain and probably best player, 4-star current ability, has been scoring lots of goals for Tottenham for quite a long time, having been at the club for over 10 years now. Goodness me, he's been here a very, very long time. Spent a while out on loan at various clubs, including Ipswich before my time, but scored a few goals for Ipswich, spent some time at Celtic, and he's been at Spurs playing regularly for 7 seasons now, scoring lots of goals. And he's partnered by Martin Sturber, a 28-year-old Czech international who's almost as good as he is and has a few goals in him as well. So what we'd quite like to do is score a goal today. What we're also looking at is we've got one eye very much on what's going on at Newcastle, where Ipswich are currently playing away from home, because if they win again, I don't think they're catchable. And then in the short term, Kev looks like a buffoon. Long term, I still think we'll be better off at Spurs. There you go. Ipswich must have lost to Newcastle. So, in fact, it will tell us the score down here. Yeah, Newcastle did beat Ipswich. The 8-match winning streak is over. And a win today because of that horrible goal difference that Ipswich have got. I mean, look at the state of that. Terrible. Because of that horrible goal difference they've got, we have the chance, if we win today, to leapfrog them again up into 8th place. Realistically, we're not going to challenge for Europe. But I kind of want to make sure Ipswich don't get there without me, because I'm mean-spirited and horrible. I know the romantic would like to see Ipswich get there this year. I can't believe that turnaround they've had. Anicic doing brilliantly, feeding Arab, and he puts it into Sturber, and we finally scored a goal. It's Sturber's 14th of the season. Liverpool are, they're on the verge of Champions League qualification. They are currently the team in possession of 4th place in the league. So it's one of, if not the hardest game of our run-in, and we've gone 1-0 up after 8 minutes. This is the start dreams are made of. There you go. Welcome to Tottenham Hotspur, everybody. We're going to have a good pre-season. It's weird taking over a club this close to the end of the season. I don't think I've ever taken over a club where A, we've only had 5 or 6 games to play, and B, there's nothing to play for. We've got no way of qualifying for Europe, realistically. There's no risk at all of us being relegated. We're not in any cups. We've literally turned up with 6 games of the season left to go at Spurs to tread water for a little while. And it's really, really weird. I'm not trying not to get attached to too many of these players, because I feel like I am going to have a bit of a clear out in the summer. Depending on how much money I'm given, we're going to try and ship some of these older players out. I don't want a squad full of 28, 29-year-olds. It's not the way I like to do things. So we're going to try and replace them with a bunch of lads in their early 20s with bags of potential, and then see if we can push on to proper European qualification next year. Ipswich are probably thinking the exact same thing. They've had a manager come in thinking all the same thoughts. They'll be looking for European qualification next year. After a brilliant season, they'll be wondering why I left. What was I thinking? I've gone across to Spurs. We're going to finish below them. Right, Anicic, do something special. He's never scored or created a goal for Spurs after being so effective for us last year. We need... Oh, that's poor. That's really poor. And Liverpool are 2-1 up. Curses. Oh, that puts us firmly below Ipswich again. And our goal difference, which was so impressive when I arrived, is slowly being frittered away. Remember, we haven't lost a game yet. This is going to be a first, just for you lot. Oh, I don't want to lose a football match. Look at how Ipswich are doing. Oh, should we have... I mean, I was tempted to leave it until the end of the season and not like leave making the decision, but try and delay actually starting the job until the end of the season. We've got it back to 2-2 though. But I thought this 6-game period, although I knew it would feel weird, and it's probably a bit weird to watch as well, I thought it would be useful to get to know some of these players and make a few decisions in competitive games about who we want to keep around and who we might want to move on. For starters, I like the strikers, but they're a bit old. So I don't know if I'll keep them both. I might just keep one of them. They've both been around for a long time, but I don't know. Perhaps I will keep them both. It depends how much money we're given. If we've got a big chunk of cash to spend, bearing in mind this is the club who just threw £27.5 million at Ipswich last summer for Anicic, so there is money at Spurs, as long as the fact we've not qualified for Europe doesn't stop money being given, then we might be able to keep both of them and just bring in a youngster to offer a bit of competition to them, which I suppose would be the best way to do things. There are other areas of the pitch that need strengthening before up front. Anyway, the goalkeeper is very poor. We need a proper attacking midfielder. We need a couple of decent fullbacks, really. So there's definitely work to do. Perhaps we're bringing Kevin Thompson to play in goal. I think we could do a lot worse. Get him on the phone. Tweet at him. _Kevin Thompson. Ask him if he's available. I mean, look, this guy's just rubbish. But we've got no one else who can play left back. So I guess we just have to keep him on. As much as I don't want to. The whole defence has been really poor, actually. But we don't really have any strength in depth back there. Kabanov is going to come on in midfield. He's a 30-year-old Ukrainian international. The squad's full of these ageing players who I just want to move on. Girard, what's he? He's primarily a winger. 27-year-old Swiss international. I mean, he's a very, very good player. Valued at £37 million. I've not given him a start yet. I didn't even realise he existed. But if he's going to play for me, it's going to have to be there. Otherwise, he's immediately screaming out at me as a player that we can sell for a big chunk of cash in the summer. So even if we're not given any money, flog our £37 million winger who's in his prime and go out and buy some fullbacks. Dude, Kev Star, we've brought it back to 3-3. That's Rashid Arab. Is that his second or his third in the match? I need to learn these players' names. It's always weird when you move clubs and you're so used to having the players on the tip of your tongue, and then they're not on my tongue. I miss some of my old players. I hope I'm not having regrets. I'm not having regrets because Ipswich, we never would have won the Premier League with Ipswich. We'll win the Premier League within three years with Tottenham, or I'll resign. There you go. Let's make a wild threat. In fact, another wild threat. Tottenham will be the last English club I manage before I retire. My manager is 50 years old in game now. So we'll do Spurs until we win something, hopefully the league. Then we might try and do a little bit of a European tour and manage a top club in a few different countries and just go and win some titles. I've never ever done that in all my history of playing Football Manager. I've never gone around winning titles, and we've got 10, 15 years of this manager left before he has to retire. That's gutting. A 91st minute goal. This is exactly what happened against Man City, except it was an equaliser in that game. But in this game, we've decided to lose it in the 91st minute. I really hope this isn't going to be something we make a habit of, but I'm finding it really hard to care too much about these end of season games because they're not my team yet. Ipswich are my team, and I'm really excited to see them pushing for a potential European place. By the way, if you're wondering why I moved, not just the fact that Tottenham are a bigger club and there's potential to win more stuff. If you look at my contract, I was on £15,000 a week at Tottenham. I'm on at Ipswich. I'm on £59,000 a week at Tottenham. Next episode, you will be seeing my massive London house that I'll be moving into over the summer. Right, let's play our final game of the season. Hopefully end things off with a win against Fulham, because if we don't, we risk finishing in the bottom half of the league, and it would still be nice to try and leapfrog Ipswich, just to finish above them. At best, we can finish level on points now, which is awful. We've got a problem, a big club problem. This should have stayed at Ipswich. Save, reload thing, do that, go back to Ipswich, finish higher in the league. If we sort this by player ability our top 3 players. Luckily, this guy doesn't want to leave yet, but of course he's a winger and doesn't fit into our system, so we'll sell him. Rashid Arab. I had to promise to sell him. He wants to go and play for a team who can win the title. Man City are interested. He's 29. He's going to have to go. Anicic wants to go and play in the Champions League. I've just had a row with him and he stormed out. He wants to go and play for Liverpool. So I might end up having to sell the best 3 players at the club. That's a problem. That's quite a big problem. This is going to be our team to play against Fulham. I think most of them were in the team before. Nikolai Krapov is a 47-year-old Russian left back, with an exceptional name. Jeremy Brunet is a 26-year-old. He might have been in the team last time. I can't even remember now. Everyone else is the same. There you go. So we did have another left back, and he's called Krapov. How could I forget that? Please, let's have a win. We haven't won for so long. It could be the last time we see Estavio in a Tottenham shirt. Who on earth is Estavio? He's an English goalkeeper who's only ever played 24 games for us. How is he English with a name like that? So he was born in Brazil, but has got English. He's played for the English under-21s. Okay. And he's been at Tottenham his entire career. I'm not giving him a new contract. He's not good enough. We don't want people like that at the club. Let's ensure we win. I don't care about the fact our reserve goalkeeper might be leaving after being... He's got no ambition. He'd have left 5 years ago if he wanted to play football anywhere. That man has only ever been interested in a paycheck. You wouldn't get that kind of nonsense out of good old Kevin Thompson. He'll be sitting on my bench next season unless Ipswich want too much money for him. I mean, remember, I was turning down big money from Southampton for him last summer of like £1.5 million, which is a lot of money for Big Kev. So we'll do our best to bring him in as our first choice keeper or backup goalkeeper. We'll have to see what happens. We need a proper goalkeeper as well. He can just be our comedy bench warmer. We've just gone 1-0 up. Arab, the guy who wants to go to Man City. Was he the one who wants to go to City or Liverpool? I forget now. Ipswich are drawing in their game now. So at the moment, even if everything ends as it is, we still finish below Ipswich, which is insane. If you'd have go back 2 days in history to where we were then, you never in a million years would have thought it would be possible for me to move to Tottenham with 6 games to go and end up finishing below Ipswich. But finish below Ipswich we shall. They're going to finish 8th with a -12 goal difference. What a second half of the season. Ipswich Town fans must be absolutely delighted. And we've conceded another goal because our goalkeeper's terrible. And for a team that have been playing 4-3-1-2 for so long, Spurs are really, really struggling to adapt to my way of playing. I wonder if the only one of our top players who wants to stay is a winger, if we have to sell the other 2, do we forget the 4-3-1-2 and try and make wingers work? We never really got it working with Ipswich and ended up going back to this tactic. But we can't sell this guy, can we? He's a goal machine. I don't understand how that's only his 20th goal of the season. He's scored so many goals since I've been here. That should be a reason for him to want to stay. We've given him a new lease of life. He's scoring goals for fun, playing as part of a Kev tactic. He'd get 40 goals for us if he was here next year. But it's persuading him to stay as our captain as well. But, I mean, whether he stays or not, that needs stripping off him over the summer because we can't have a captain who wants to leave the club. That's crazy talk. But if we can keep the bulk of this squad together and make the right additions, cliche bingo, then we should be able to push for a Europa League spot. It is a little bit concerning that I've not had a discussion with the board yet about what their expectations for next year is. We've come in with no expectation. The board have said, yeah, we're not going to set you any targets for this year. Just see it out to the end of the season. We'll talk about targets in the summer. And that terrifies me a little bit because if they come and say to me, yeah, absolute minimum, we want Champions League, then I might have to try and go back to Ipswich with my tail between my legs because this squad, I don't think has Champions League in them. We've moved above Ipswich, everybody. We're going to finish 9th as it stands. Ipswich must be losing in their game. Everything is right with the world. We've moved to a bigger club and now we've got league table proof. Right, bring him on. And no, he can stay there. And he's not very good, so we'll bring him on, who was supposedly very good. He was 4th best player at the club when we just sorted it by ability. Nolet, Big Nolte. Let's bring on the winger lad as well, Gerard, and see if he can produce a little bit of magic to convince me that he can play as an attacking midfielder in a Kev tactic. I want Norwich to concede a few goals now so they can drop below us as well. 8th place would be an excellent finish, bearing in mind the rough 6 games that we've had. But it looks like we should be able to just hold on for a 9th place finish, although we are level on points with Ipswich. Oh no, we would have been level on points with Ipswich all along. It's the goal difference that's making all the difference. Finally, the Man United game from earlier in the season goes in my favour. I knew it would all come good off the back of that in the end. We've finished 9th. We've finished above Ipswich. Now let's see how much transfer money that we've got. Anicic is now able to play as a right midfielder. Who cares? We need to sort that out. We don't want him playing there. When do we get our wage budgets? We'll be back in a moment with wage budgets. They better be big, or this whole justification for moving is out the window. That'll do nicely. We'll take that. We'll take the money from selling a few players over the summer, and we are going to have fun. As I mentioned at the start of the episode, it's very, very, very unlikely at this stage that there'll be a Football Manager video out tomorrow, because I'm recording this on Wednesday night. I'm going to need Thursday night to do all that and be ready to have the next video out. So this one will come out on Thursday, so there'll be no video Friday. The next one, the first one with Spurs, should be out on Saturday for you. So apologies for that, but there's plenty of FIFA Fallout stuff on the channel. If you haven't watched yesterday's Fallout 4 video yet, you probably should. It's a bit special. Remember the 8-0 against Man United? It's the Fallout 4 version of that. So if you enjoyed that, you'll enjoy that too. If you've enjoyed today's video, or if you're just excited about the prospect of a season with Tottenham coming up on Saturday, please make sure you pop a like on there for me. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more, and thank you very much for watching.